Well, hello, folks. Good morning, good evening. Hello, as you join us. Hello. Good morning, folks. As you join us, we will be having Henry joining us here very soon. Henry will join us soon. Henry will be joining us from the station in Monrovia. Let's share the show. We'll be bringing Henry on to join us. Folks, let's share the show. A lot to talk about today. Let's share the show. Monk will be joining us. I'm sure Seku will also join us. Let's share the show. Let me bring on Henry. Henry, how are you? Henry, how are you, my man? Lawrence will be joining us as well.
Okay. Yes. Steve. I'm doing okay. What's it for you?
Yes, I'm doing very well. Thank you. Thanks for asking.
Okay.
Let me bring on Lawrence. Lawrence is supposed to be joining us as well. We're hoping that Monk and the rest of the team will join us here in a little bit. Here, let's share the show, folks. Uh, Lawrence, my man. Oh, Lawrence. Lawrence, my man, what's up? I'm not hearing Lawrence. Folks, let's share the show. We have a lot to talk about. Let me bring on Mona. Mona should be joining us too as well. Um, a lot of things to talk about today. Let's share the show. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are following us from. We're hoping Siku will join us. But like I said, let's share the show, folks. I think the best move we can make right now is to share the show. Mona, how are you? I'm not sure if Mona's there. Uh, Mona should be joining us. Lawrence, I'm not hearing you. Henry, you think you'll be able to take some calls today if we open the lines?
Yeah. Yes. We'll do that.
Okay.
Steve, I'm
Okay.
okay. I'm okay, Steve. How you doing?
Mona, what's up? You want to tag me again or you hiding? We can see you.
No,
Is
not
that okay?
telling you, no, I've been there. My camera going on, no signal. Same time, it will pick up.
Oh,
What happening to me? Oh.
I see.
Yeah, that's what happening to me.
I see. But Mona, what's up? How Grand Gita? What's going on with you? How Grand Gita?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Grandchildren's okay. Everything going smoothly.
So you say the country doing okay, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why you say you okay, the country going on smoothly, but then you laughing there? So I don't know what's up.
Country not easy, but that our country.
Lawrence, my man, what's up? The great monk is coming on as well. Let's see here. We'll get into some social issue here in just a little bit. Monk, my man, what's going on? Monk. Monk is joining us. I'm not seeing Lawrence. Lawrence left. Monk, my man, what's up? Okay.
I'm up.
Hopefully, Monk.
Hello?
Yeah, Monk, what's going on, bro?
I'm okay. I'm doing great. Thursday. One more day to the end of the week, to the weekend. So we hang in there. We just monitoring all the drama from behind the scene.
Yeah. Well, We'll get into it. We'll have some social conversation as well. Some of you are asking for Melbourne. We'll make the official statement as to where Melbourne is.
Maybe a VIP, maybe one invited to a very to an occasion. The man a superstar.
Yeah, so we'll tell you where Melbourne is. We'll let you know. Lawrence is back. Lawrence, my man, what's up? Yeah, we're not hearing from Lauren. Lauren, the owner. Folks, just before we start the show officially to get into some conversation here, we want to welcome you. Today is the 10th of April and 2025. The time here is 11:05 in Phoenix, Arizona. We have a very, very good weather. You even won't be here, sir. You got a very, very good weather, Monk. Our weather. I know, Monk. What's up with your weather in Minnesota today? What's going on with that weather?
Oh, our weather not too bad. I mean, it's not hot. It's not too cold. I think we got a mild weather here. Almost like it's about to rain, but it's not rainy. You know, that kind of a vibe from the weather. And I didn't check the temperature, but it's not cold and it's not hot. Half and half.
So that I kind of weather, then I can make you to the guy who misbehaving to call him by. Eh?
When you live in Minnesota, you got to be extremely disciplined. If you don't have discipline, you will be in some big trouble because the weather here, trust me, especially during the winter, it's extremely cold. We can go 20, 25 below freezing. So you need a particular set of discipline to be able to navigate this Minnesota weather, or else you will just be another community mango.
Yeah, I know the weather there. That weather I can bring noise in the town. Like weather in there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
By the way, folks, let's share the show. Let's share the show. Can we get into the social aspect of the conversation? Let's share the show. Yeah, let's share the show. I know Kesely will be joining us. When Kesely come in, Lawrence here, we got to decide who will be here. Lawrence is here from Radio Former. Kesely is also. We'll put both of you on. Kesely, my man, what's going on? We should remove Lawrence, or which one? We should leave Lawrence there?
Yeah, the Lawrence.
Yeah, because we're gonna start him. You have to follow level. So you want Lawrence situation, you can't handle why you hustling on the other side. By the way, folks, welcome to the show. Today is April 10th. Can you imagine we're in the 10th day of this 4th month? Yeah, let's share the show, folks, please. We have a lot to cover, a lot to talk about. We'll talk about some social issues here really quick. That being said, I want to say welcome to all of you officially, those of you listening to us via the radio. Thank you so much for always following Sktv, for listening to us, for being part of the program, for your support. I know that a lot of things have happened over the past few days, the past few hours as well. We want to say welcome to the show. Welcome to today's edition. As always, the Liberian people are the most on earth. And the Liberian women are the most beautiful women on earth. But it seems like Liberian women again are on the map in another quagmire, in another noise, in another drama. Monk, I don't know, from a social standpoint, I saw you tagging me in something this morning. What's the latest story? Because you're coming from Minnesota, what's going on?
Well, Mama, you're the psycho analyst, so when things are happening, I love to tag you so you can give us an update. I mean, to do the analysis, the human behavior from a human behavioral standpoint. And our sister had the same one I was throwing tantrum. I think she got a letter from the husband, if I'm not mistaken, that she should be out of the premises. And she was complaining that she's homeless. I was like, I think I commented on one of those. I said, this is what you get when you think that you have figured out America and you believe that you are stable enough to attack men or to abuse a man. Now you see the situation you found yourself. These are the kind of instances where you would tell your true friends, I will see who will be able to host you in this state. Because it's one thing when you are doing okay and people come to visit you and they claim to be your friend, but there is a whole different thing when you find yourself in a crisis, especially when it comes to homelessness and nobody can show up for you. So, I mean, it's up to you. That was your choice. Life is about making choices and living by the consequences of your decision. That's just what it is. And yesterday, the other social issue, I followed the Champions League. My team, Barcelona, they display another splendid performance. I thought that team is the youngest team in Europe. I thought they need a couple of years to mature, but Barcelona is playing a kind of a football like a team that been so coherent for the past 3 or 4 years, especially with this 17-year-old kid, Lamine Yamal. I have seen other 17-year-olds. I have seen great 17-year-olds. I can remember the like of the original Brazilian man at the age of 17. Samuel Eto'o, one of them that blew up at an early age. I saw Wayne Rooney. I saw Michael Owen. But Lamine Yamal is just, I saw even Messi at the age of 17 years. He had a technical ability, but the maturity, the idea of reading the game from a whole different perspective, I have never seen anything like that from a 17-year-old. He passes, the way he reads the game, the kind of a dribble, the way he can dribble, the kind of a ease and the calmness he can exhibit. Can you imagine this kid can be taking the ball to like 3 defenders, and he's still cool, calm, and collected? I was like, no, I have never seen anything like this from a typical 17-year-old. When you're talking about 20 to 21, I can agree, but 17, that's maturing way too early. It's like he's ahead of his generation. That's just what I saw yesterday against Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah, Monk, to agree with you. I want to start off with maybe I don't know if Keseli and Muna follow football. You know, we call it soccer on this side, but we call it football back home. I don't know even if Heren follows football too. When you see people tying their faces and I'm pushing them more, I mean, I'm a Madrid fan, but you'll be fine.
Steve,
I don't understand.
I'm a Barcelona fan. Anyway.
My man, I'm going to Barcelona winning. I'm going to Barcelona winning. Slow down.
No, it's not that. It's not that.
Okay. But
I've always been Barcelona.
My man, we not want you to change next season.
My man, anyway, no matter what happen, I will always be Barcelona fan. I support Barcelona.
Okay, we have folks. Just so we announced, Sekou kind of refused to take my call. More, can you imagine? Sekou kind of refused to take my call.
Tuesday, right?
My man, Tuesday. Look, yesterday, I called a man, long before I called you yesterday, I called a man back to back because I want to meet you with the man saying, you're not pick calls. So, that is simple for that inside. But anyway, Henry, what's saying you, my man? Well, not too.
Yeah, thank you so kindly, Steve, and let me say greetings to the many panelists on the SKTV. I'm honored to be here while proceed in for Johnson Maven Kura, while he's attending the presidential dinner. So it's a pleasure to be here. So I followed the game on last night, but I'm now a cheerer of Barcelona, neither Real Madrid. I go for the English team. I cheer the blue. That's Chelsea. Yes, and quite recently, I was even cheering for Arsenal against Real Madrid. So I go for the English team, and I'm a cheerer of Chelsea anyway. I love the
but in Spain now, who between Madrid and Barcelona, who you would support if you were look at him for too critically?
Who I would support, I'll go for Madrid. Even though
how can you say the way you tell yourself push your more and you say Madrid fan, brother?
No, I'm not. Like I said, brother, I just
you explain that.
No, you just asked me a simple question to just make long topic short, right? I said,
but Steve, in more cases, you will see Chelsea fans supporting Real Madrid.
Most definitely so.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Anytime you hear the word Chelsea, you know that they're affiliated with Madrid. And that's just a clear matter.
Yeah.
Anytime you say their connection is deeper than that, they're with Madrid. No, we know you're the Chelsea fan. And that story, brother. We already know you. We just looking at you. Also gonna wait 90 times. We're looking at you. By the way,
the blue gonna come on strong next season. It'll be very, very strong.
My man, we're discussing serial money thing. We're not discussing blue, all the funny color there.
You qualify here, right?
Yeah, when you got blue, y'all serial money. Nobody look like y'all saying in the Premier League. Why your position on the table in the Premier League?
I think the fourth now, if I'm not mistaken.
Fourth.
Yeah.
Well, what?
The in Champion League, in Champion League territory, I think they're on 4th Street.
No. Let's get it clear. They are warming that seat for Manchester City.
For what exactly?
Manchester City will take that seat at the end of the day.
For what exactly, Steve?
Because Manchester City were in a fourth, my man. I'm just telling you. That's what happened. If you come out and see with it.
That's your prediction. To predict the game and go on the field and get a 3 point, that's two different things. So that's your prediction.
Okay, Chief, no problem. And we
That's what happens at the end of the season.
You will see your same part too. But folks, let's share the show. This is what we do here on SKTV. We have some good time. It's good. Mona, where you at to? Who you supporting?
Barcelona.
But Mona, how you joining Barcelona? We know you talking.
I've been back since. Even the be back then, be back out. I've been back out since.
More, you see how we getting back out. More, how you be back up and question?
They be back out. I only back out. They be back out. They be back out.
But that still can decide who to be back out, who to be what kind of thing.
Also, you answer.
What qualify you to be the one to decide who's supposed to be back out?
I'm a Barcelona fan. Yeah.
You answer your phone. Me, I just want to know you answer your phone now.
But me, I answer your phone. I just waiting for my time so I can give it to you.
Barcelona playing full off. Mr. Kaneke answer full, folks. But finally, you want to show that's a good thing. Folks, let's share the show. Really quick, Melbourne, like Henry said, Henry put it a diplomatic way. Joseph Human Boakai gave Melbourne 2F and the rest of the crew Huawei. We told them, Joseph Human Boakai, yo, Melbourne on Tuesday morning, my phone couldn't rest, Mr. Kaneke. I forgot to tell you a month. Melbourne called me Monday night through all the night, how he's getting ready. They closed that Melbourne never went to church before. Melbourne waited for that interview on Tuesday morning with the president. I told Melbourne, I said, Melbourne, slow down, brother. That Joe Boy, you didn't win. Joe Boy don't keep the word. Oh, my man, everything is sorry, they said. You know the EPA man that come here and said, Melbourne, lead that story. Only for Melbourne to call me a few hours well dressed. Look, Melbourne was so dressed, myself, I was afraid. Melbourne, the first time I see Melbourne suit up, really nicely. Waiting for Joseph Boakai. They gave him his boss man, O'Neill. They gave him Huawei. But for Joseph Boakai to come and say that, you know, he said Joseph Boakai saying having dinner. And they go there, they go eat Joseph Boakai food. Let me stay on this show. A Melbourne continue eating our president food and he come on the show. And was a fight. It will be a single problem between all. And when we request that he refund that food he ate, I told him he not listen that ate it. So folks, you will not see Melbourne today. Melbourne go eat president food.
All right, say you don't want to give me time. Let me take time for myself.
Okay, what you doing?
Yeah, because you're enjoying yourself too much now because of Barcelona win one game. You're so happy you don't even know what to say. Getting on the show and confused, going all over the place. Let me tell you this. First of all, when it comes to sportsmanship, I'm number one person when it comes to recognizing my opponent's strength and also their weaknesses. And I wrote it on my page. I'm not a Baga fan, but the team they have right now, the young team they have, is promising. They could go a long way if they keep it together. That's what it calls sportsmanship. But it doesn't mean because something like child growing up, looking strong, then the giant in the town, you want to challenge that giant. When it comes to Champions League, when it comes to European football, Real Madrid is the giant. Real Madrid are taking more championships than any other team in history. And nobody can erase that. Real Madrid has produced some of the best in the history of the game. So for Barca to be coming up, doing some good things, I mean, it's welcoming. But it should not make you to lose control. Now you won't even be deciding who to be part of Barca. Even those that were part of Barca before, you questioning their support now for Barca because Barca won one game. It's not even over yet. So, to answer your question, when it comes to UK, I support Arsenal when I was back home throughout. And my team I have 3 teams in Europe altogether. Italy, I had Juventus. Spain, I have Madrid, and England is Arsenal. I slow down my support for Arsenal today now because Joe Barker, me Joe Barker can be on the same team. Yeah.
And Joe Barker be Arsenal fan.
Joe Barker be Arsenal fan. So, and I believe anything Joe Barker that just dies. But the fact that he's not in control, maybe Arsenal will survive. But I don't want to identify with Arsenal for now. Maybe Joe Barker, leave power down to support Arsenal.
Oh my God.
So, but on a serious note, Melbourne, the dinner they went to with the president, Sktv was officially invited months ago, and they're on the other media platforms. So Melbourne they went there representing Sktv and 2FM. So they now go there to go eat the burger food. Alabama put money. The money that Joe Barker is eating, Alabama put money. I have money. So that thing was still talking about maybe when I go eat Pape food. You may not talk about Pape. Maybe will be there, say, Pape are funny that people will call you out. Yeah. So people will call you out and tell the Pape the truth. So I'm here. I'll be listening. I don't want to kind of correct Steve when it comes to Barcelona and Real Madrid thing. Don't be so excited. It's not over yet. I think that's the first leg. I'm not sure what's going to happen, next. But again, even if Barcelona end up going to the final or even win it, I think they deserve it. They got some good things this time around. I'm not sure how far they will go, but if they keep it together, I think they can go a long way. So congratulations to you guys for winning.
Well, Mr. Kanye,
Madrid are mature people. They don't envy. Petty thing.
I wish
we pray them for them to grow and reach the highest height.
I wish you good luck, Madrid. We're not discussing Madrid yet. Madrid got 3 years. Why you need to do work? We're discussing a better and a sophisticated team.
No, you're asking people whether the Madrid fan or Barcelona fan. So because you're scared of double Madrid now.
You Barcelona fan? You want to discussing important thing about Barcelona? Why discussing Madrid? Who's struggling with
what made Barcelona important more than Madrid? We got more championships than Madrid.
How many world best Madrid produce?
Plenty.
Where? How?
You know Zidane?
Did that story?
You know Zidane? No, you know Zidane?
No, they're not Madrid producing. That Juventus producing. It came from Italy. They're not Madrid.
Oh, but if that's the case now, then that's not producing.
Madrid is a
that whole argument is juvenile.
Madrid is a
Ronaldo came from Madrid.
Ronaldo won before you get to Madrid.
But how many world best you got while you with Madrid?
In Manchester United, we have Ronaldinho.
How many world best Ronaldo got while you with Madrid?
In the most recent
time, man. My man, stop let us something better, man.
For Real Madrid is a useless team who is frustrated. They got a bunch of old people there. The whole midfield, the defense, everybody is so old people. And so that's why Arsenal will beat them, they will lose. And you know what? We'll beat them this year in the Copa del Rey final. And Mr. Kanye, if you don't pick up my phone that day,
you see the difference? You see the difference between Madrid fans and Barcelona fans? As a Madrid fan being mature, and for the sake of sportsmanship, Madrid fan just told you that your team is promising. Listen. Your team is promising. Your team is good. My man, listen. I just told you your team is promising. your team is doing good and say congratulations to you for winning. But
But I
because of the level of immaturity and non-sportsmanship on the part of the Barcelona people, you are there insulting Barcelona, calling them useless. Who in the world of football can call Madrid useless?
It's a
Okay.
useless. They manipulate the La Liga. They can manipulate the La Liga. They can cheat
You
for them.
you hear about the man. Yeah, your sense, you're like a United Party man right now. You better go take shower right now and take some medication so you can come back to yourself. Otherwise, right now you will write a knee in the United Party book straight.
Yeah, but I work on my paper right now because nobody go eat our food. So I work on my paper. Anyway, folks, let's share the show. As you are aware, today, another fascinating time to have some very, very good conversation. I'm not sure where Henry went, but I think he will come back. I don't know who took Henry off the set. Henry will be back very, very soon. Okay, Henry is back. I put him back. But folks, let's share the show. Before we get into the politics today, I know Monk said something about Monk said something that was very important about, from a social standpoint, about what's going on. You know, that lady, husband taking her to court or whatever it is. And, you know, I saw a couple of posts too as well. People saying, you know, she needs to go check herself in. She need to go do this. She need to go do that. Let me say this. All right. Monk, you said it right. I won't support you. I won't buttress your effort. You see, when people have problems in their relationships, my only frustration with most of all Liberian people is we come on Facebook to seek validation. Most of the people who you come in to come talk to, they don't care. They don't have the solution to the problem you have in your relationships. They will use it as a means to quote unquote become talk show hosts, become celebrity, become the one they will just talk. After a few days, they jump to the next story. So now you become the talk of the town. Please don't engage your private affairs on social media. These people are not helpful. They don't care. They will just make your situation out of the talking point all day, and some of them forget about what they got going on that's even worse than yours. Not be able to keep your situation private. And if you need to go seek help, go seek help. There are a lot of professional help in this country. Some of you, your jobs offer some of these professional helps. You just need to go and ask them. You just need to ask for the right direction. Ask the rightful question, you'll get the help you need. Another thing I also wanted to say is this. For us, we don't condone any violence. Whether woman hating man, man hating woman, violence are violence. We came on the platform and we said it was wrong for a woman to raise her hand on a man. The same thing. People can have disagreements when you're in relationships. It's normal. It's a perfect thing. Sometimes in some relationship, no two human beings will coexist with all disagreement. That is it's practically impossible. Your way you handle it makes a huge difference. So those of you now who are supporting and making excuses and defending or whatever it is, and justifying or whatever it is, here is it today now. The man is asking the girl to leave the house now. Well, I thought you're supposed to be opening up now to receive her. Yeah. You're supposed to follow directly. That's what you're supposed to do. This is, you see why I told you the whole Facebook thing and social media thing you'll be doing, it's just a waste of time, folks. So, I mean, sometimes we'll say some of the things you'll get there with us, but we'll be telling you the truth on here. Learn to manage and handle your situation in a more mature way, in a reasonable way. Now the man is insisting that she leaves the house, took her to court and all of that. What you will do now? I thought you're supposed to be collecting money for lawyer fee for her. And you really care? The other women advocates who are defending and justifying that, and that's what you need to be doing now. But you're not doing it. And we told y'all. That's exactly what you guys are going to do. When people face problems in their homes and other places in their relationships, y'all will pop them up. Y'all will push the situation. Y'all will put fire behind it. Y'all will bring noise and break up people's relationships. Because y'all wanted to be miserable like how some of you guys are miserable. Y'all will start talking about people's relationships that y'all know nothing about. Y'all don't know some many people, y'all don't even know them. Y'all just got up bits and pieces of gossip from here. People who got bigger problem, and you're making your own issue. This is what we are faced with now. Now, if the guy becomes homeless, the next thing you're coming to do now, you're coming to make it like your talk show thing again and start laughing at her and start making mockery out of her. That's exactly what you guys are going to do. So throughout this process, you have not been helpful at all in any way, shape, or form. All you guys do, most of you just got on news from here, talk things that don't concern you, put your mouth on people that you don't even know. You don't have to put your mouth on. And that's what you do. And you call yourself talk show host. You just make noise all day on Facebook. Nothing substantial, nothing beneficial. And you dishonor yourself Honor yourselves and honor my other people, relationships or whatever. That's all you guys are good at doing this on the Facebook and in our communities. Most of you. So, we'll leave it for that monk as we follow. Whatever they want to do, they can go and do it up to them. But I want to commend Collie. Let me say here today, I want to commend Collie as staying with him or going to court. This is America. That foolishness you're doing, bro, where you can pass and hate each other and do the one. Any woman, any man I hate you, call the police. You go to the authority. You go handle it there. That foolishness needs to stop. I want to commend Collie for taking the right step in the right direction, for doing the right thing. If you think somebody harm you or you think somebody do something that you don't let, go to the court, get a redress from there. So I stand with Collie. I commend Collie. Y'all go support who y'all supporting now. Let us see what will happen. More, what say you before we close the part and get to our politics for the day?
Well, I think you said it all. The whole thing about social media. I think social media will cause more problem from speaking from a relationship standpoint than it will help, because you just need to separate your personal life from the whole social media. That's why the one thing about technology and the whole thing about social media, people don't understand. They call it augmented reality. It's a fake life. People going through their personal stuff, but you want to come because you believe that if you're not on social media, it means you are unknown, that nobody knows you. So you must create something and drama just to get people attention. But knowing in the long term, you are literally destroying yourself. And one thing she said in the video, she does not even understand the court process. Apparently, she didn't even know how to get downtown to go to a court. Let's talk about being homeless. So, like I said, the people who are pushing this thing back, and I will commend the colleague. I think he got real mental composure, because I don't think if I had been in that situation, I was going to tolerate that. Like somebody keep hitting you repeatedly, but at least he kept a composure. And warning her to stop doing it over and over, even though she kept hitting him. But I will give him credit for that. I would say any day, anywhere, that Collie, you deserve great credit for what you exhibited, what we saw on video. Like, my brother, you got hot. So I give it to you for sure, Steve.
Yeah, thank you. And just for the record, I stand with Collie. I stand with 100%, and that's the right thing to do. But let's get into the politics of the day. Mr. Connor, what caught your attention, knowing that we're looking forward to the Supreme Court rulings? We'll get to the Nima County conversation in the election, but from a national standpoint, what's on your mind? What caught your attention? What's going
on? What caught my attention is the Unity Party coalition, or the renegades from the Unity Party, and they are in Evolos. They are in disarray. They are in serious problem, serious panic move, because the pressure from the public has changed the dimension, the dynamics of the whole problem at the Supreme Court. So Joseph Boagai is about to cave into the pressure. Joseph Boagai talking to them and they are not listening. So that caught my attention, and I'm wondering as to what point Joseph Boagai will say enough is enough and take serious decision, if he actually able to take one. So that is something I'm concerned about, because the Supreme Court holding on their ruling came from Joseph Boagai, but you can only negotiate from two sides. You can't say negotiating on one side. But if you want to get the rural guys under control, then you can go to the minority bloc, because those people, they have made their demands clear as to what they want and what can move them. But now those guys from the renegade group, they are saying that they don't agree. They feel they are legal, they are legitimate. They want to disrespect the court. They are saying, in fact, they have power to impeach any of the justices who try to, go against them. They say they are the first branch of government. They can do anything they want to do and go free. Forgetting to know that the power they have right now is given to them by Joseph Nima Boakai, and now with the Constitution. And who controls the military, who controls the police, is Joseph Nima Boakai. It's Joseph Nima Boakai people continue to talk to them to change course, and they fail to do that. I want to see how that whole drama will play out. So that's my concern right now. Let's see what will happen. I'm enjoying it. I don't like the fight in the entire legislature, but the infighting among the renegade group and the demagogues, I like it. I want to see how it will end.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kana. We'll revisit that and because there's a lot to unpack in that conversation, especially with what's going on in the state of the nation and what's happening. And we'll go back to the origin of this problem that you've talked about, especially involving the Supreme Court into this, and which we also term as Joseph Boakai unconstitutionally removing his own government or putting his own administration and the Liberian people at risk. But we'll talk about it. Monk, what say you? We're delving to Mr. Kana's point he's made here to kind of dissect it a little more. What say you, Monk?
Well, nothing more. I'm just monitoring it because for me, I said it from day one. I know what I stand when it comes to the Constitution and they host impasse in the House. I think your U.S. Congressman is in Liberia. He met with even the renegade speaker or the regime speaker. I know it will end up with a negotiation because there is nowhere in the world, I maintain my position, absolutely nowhere in the world where a Supreme Court will claim to interfere in the legislative matter. And the one that surprised me today was even an article from the Front Page Africa that the man who's the chairman on the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Augustine Che. I was like, I don't know. I think that's why people say educated people feel like, bro, because the contradiction, you just cannot make sense of it. Augustine Che said that actually he accused the president of obstruction of justice by interfering with the judiciary. It's a very sacred provision in the Constitution because the separation of power is one of the most egregious crimes that any branch of government can commit. That is by overstepping their constitutional bound. Mm-hmm. But one thing he said, I don't understand these guys. He said that his direct quote was hold on one second. He said, let me find the piece here. He said something. He said the election or the removal of the speaker is a political matter, but it takes I think he said it's a judicial process that governs the removal. Like, what are you trying to say, my brother? I know Constitution does not make a speaker. Constitution does not remove a speaker, even though there is a provision for that. But you keep confusing people. You cannot be the Senate, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Judiciary. You are accusing the president of obstruction of justice and kind of overstepping his executive power, which is the same as abusing one form of government or getting too much power. How can you make the case that the process that guarded speaker's removal should be governed by a legal framework, but then you are telling the Liberian people that the appointment or the selection or the removal of the speaker is a political process? You guys keep confusing yourself because the very same thing I said, and I will maintain my position until Liberia can teach me something new in my life, because it will be the first time in human history that we will see a judiciary branch claiming that they are coming to bring about sanity in a horse matter. So it will be my first time learning something when it comes to that. And we'll just keep watching the process. But like I said, you got a U.S. envoy or U.S. lawmaker in Liberia. Maybe he negotiating because I think they understand this thing that it cannot come from the Supreme Court. Because I know whenever a Supreme Court interferes in legislative matter, it's also a constitutional violation. So maybe Liberia will set a new record that the Supreme Court will come and pick one as the legitimate speaker and say, no, you are the illegitimate speaker. I'm just waiting to see that day in the final ruling. That's what I'm waiting for.
Thank you, Monk. But let's establish something before we go any further. Let's establish something. And I do want to ask you, Mr. Cannon, this question. Let's establish something. Did President Joseph Numa Boakai interfere, stop, requested, ask the Supreme Court to not come up with their ruling as expected today? Has that been established as a fact? Mr. Kane, what say you before we go to more? Let's establish the basis first before moving further. Has that been established as a fact? Because, Monk, I know Mr. Kane is not there, but let me ask you this question. Has it been established as a fact based on everything we've read from different reportings, whether it's the French Front Page Africa or other journals or other things like that have reported in print media and all of that? Has it been established as a fact that Joseph Yuma Boakai said anything to the Supreme Court? Let's not delve into the Supreme Court's ruling first. Let's establish the fact. Has it been established that Joseph Yuma Boakai placed a call, made a call, and so forth? Has it been established?
I don't want to believe it is an established fact. It's still, I think it's a rumor still. That's why, because even the statement coming from the chairman or the Senate Judiciary chair, he's saying if what I'm hearing is true, because he was telling the Supreme Court to hold their ground. Like, how can you or lawmaker from the House of Edo who tell the Supreme Court to hold their ground? The Supreme Court been holding their ground. They are obligated to hold their ground. So you cannot accuse the president of judicial interference. You are talking about obstruction of justice, which is a big impeachable offense, and then telling the Supreme Court to hold their ground. So you guys keep confusing the entire country. That's where the problem is. You cannot be clear on one thing. 1 minute you're saying it's a political matter, another minute you are saying it's a legislative or something that is constitutional. 1 minute the Supreme Court Chief Justice is saying no, there is no such thing as a majority, when in fact we know in politics everything is about majority and minority. So my brother, I know it's not a fact yet, because in any serious country, the moment Joseph Boakai places a call to a Supreme Court justice, Chief Justice or Associate Justices, the next day there will be an impeachment article. And even when anyone from the legislature even get a confirmation that a president placed a call to the Supreme Court, which is an interference, that alone, there will be a bill, an article of impeachment the following morning. Early in the morning, there will be an article of impeachment. So I'm not going to tell you say it's a fact yet, but I think the rumors in this thing, I think overshadow the facts for now, because everything is all about gossip and rumors. Oh, who said it? At the end of the day, I don't want to tell you on Sktv that it is an established fact for now until we get the confirmation.
Okay. Let's go around the corner here really quick and ask the guys on ground and the only lady we have with us here today to weigh on it for a minute to find out if this has been an established fact. Sekou is back. Sekou, before we go to the rest of the panels here, has it been established that President Joseph Yuma Boakai reached out to the Supreme Court or members of the Supreme Court bench to ask them to delay or to give him 2 weeks or to do this or do that? Has that been established? Is it a fact that is established? Because different media outlets are reporting that. Has that fact been established, Mr. Kane? Okay, so we can hear from Mr. Kane. Let's start from
yes.
Okay. So that fact has been established, right? Because I'm hearing wrong. If that fact is established, then
Joseph Boakai was in.
Yeah, wherever Mr. Kane is, his service is not good. Normally, his reception is not good whenever he's in a part of the country or whenever he travels. Okay, I think he traveled, so that's why. But let's come to Muna. Muna, has that fact been established? What say you?
For me, it hasn't been established yet, so I can really definitely too much. Until it is established, then I can do more talking on that. But now it's a rumor going around that he called to the Supreme Court to halt the process to see how best he can negotiate. But has it been established, so I can go deeper into that.
Okay, let's go to Sharif. Sheikh, welcome to the show, my man. It's good having you, and thank you so much. What say you? Has the fact been established?
Thank you so much, Steve. Let me say good evening to all of you on the show from our end here in Liberia. But before going to that, let me just say this. You know, even though the fact has not been established from our point of view, from what we see, but you know, even the way we do the journalism we do at times, when we hear rumor, we don't just let it go. We hold on to it, and then we start chasing the facts. So those somehow seem to be a rumors around the corner, but we got to hold on to it until we establish the facts. But for me, from my point of view, and for what I'm seeing physically, what I'm been observing about the whole process concerning the majority, minority bloc legislatures, the executive involvement into some issues, yes, I can hold on that rumor until we get the facts. But the action of the guys can tell you that it's reality. But yes, we wait to see.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Khan, are you back so you can finish your thoughts? Because I know you were saying something.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So what happens when I'm working, I can go on my phone and people can call me. When people call me, they can just cut me off.
Right.
So I can't continue talking. That's why. So if you can hear me, what I was saying, you are asking whether or not there's a fact established.
Right.
I don't know what qualifies establishment of a fact. Those back are not going to agree. Those back are not going to say yes, it happened. Those back are not going to tell anybody say yes, I call. Supreme Court is not going to tell anybody that Joe Baker called me. But from a credible source, Sktv never lie. Everything we have said, 99.9% of the time, we have gotten it right. When it comes to information in Liberia and outside of Liberia, Joseph Njima Bwakai government already compromised this Supreme Court a long time ago. That's why the Supreme Court came up with that ambiguous ruling that we said to everybody here that Supreme Court only increased the problem, but it didn't help in the process. Because they allow everybody to go interpret for themselves. It was deliberate. It was done purposely so that it can hurt the government, the government and the so-called majority. Now that the pressure from the public, everything they are doing, they're working together. The Supreme Court want to come out to satisfy the people now, but they have to do it in consultation with Joseph Mabaka. That's how they've been working. Why is it that Supreme Court didn't do it? Why is it the Supreme Court didn't come out with it? If Joseph Mabaka didn't call, have you gotten any reason? Any reason as to why? Why is it Joseph Mabaka is not actually, in fact, denying? Joseph Mabaka got the information. In fact, they showed him the ruling. He told them, I can negotiate a little more. The information did not leak just for anybody. It did not leak from Judge Mabaka office. It leaked from the Supreme Court. One of the Supreme Court justices is not happy about what's going on, about they working directly with Judge Mabaka when it comes to making decisions. They believe that person believes that it takes away their independence as judicial branch of the government. So it's a fact, it's a reliable source. Joseph Mabaka is the one that stopped the Supreme Court from coming out the ruling. But I'm not sure now what they're going to do. That's what I told you guys earlier on, that I'm here enjoying the impasse among them, because the people who are refusing to listen to Joseph Mabaka are the same people that Joseph Mabaka in power to go and violate the law, violate the Constitution. And it's like chicken is coming home to roost. So Joseph Mabaka is in complete dilemma right now with these people. And at the end of the day, those guys, the kind of power they have assigned to themselves, they will not cave in. They think they can pressure Joseph Mabaka to cave into them instead of as opposed to they actually accepting the demands from the minority. So it will be interesting as we move forward, but it's true.
Okay, so let me hear from the rest of the panel, and then we'll take it to the next step here, because Monk raised an interesting point that I thought that can also be explored. What say you, And Henry, what say you, my man?
Thank you, Steve. To the rest of the other panelists, like Shek was saying, I don't want to confirm that because in the media landscape, the public, depend on all for the actuality, for the real truth. So to just tell you that the president has interfered into this, he has compromised the issue in favor of an individual on which I don't have credible information to, I think I would not be doing the public justice rather. But then what I can assure you is that, like one of the panelists make mention of the congressman that came to Liberia, when you understand in a part of his saying, he said he hoped that the time and stayed in Liberia, he will help to reconcile, he will bring on the art of reconciliation to see how bad they can like mitigate this whole rigmarole between majority speaker, minority speaker. He will stand in a gap to see how best they can reconcile the issue, telling them how the politics in America, is like bringing some ideas to them. But in my opinion, if the president will get involved into this, I think it will not be appropriate. But again, like I said, I don't want to confirm it that he's into it because the public depends on all for the truth, nothing but just the truth. We are not here to make news, but we are here to break news. And we also look at other media outlets. They will carry information that is not credible, that they have that they can't defend because a lot of media outlets want followers. So they will just like put anything on their page, they will just say anything just for people to be like on back and forth comments.
Okay.
So hold on there. Yeah, while the conversation continue.
Thank you. Let's go quicker to Cassidy. Cassidy, what say you? Cassidy, are you there?
Yeah, I think Cassidy having a problem. He always been going through some technical issue when it comes to speaking. I don't know.
Okay, well, Monk, the point that you raised, now that we have some insights that SKTV can confirm based on what Sekou is reporting, that yes, President Joseph Yuma Boaka did reach out, whether directly or indirectly or through emissary or whatever it is. Again, like other outlets are reporting. Since that is established, do you think anyone in the legislature? I heard you talking about the judiciary, big person in the Senate, chair.
He's the chairman on the Senate Committee on Judiciary.
Right.
The main legal matter happening in the.
Do you think they will even establish any kind of investigative process that could potentially lead to the impeachment of Joseph Yuma Boakai?
I don't think it will happen because when it comes to removing the president, I don't think they would do it. I don't think they will be inclined to do it anyway. The only one thing I know, you see, when Sekou myself, when we talk about this issue, Sekou is talking from the era of privileged information, talking about intel, talking about certain insider in government. For me, I'm just looking at the whole part from a governance standpoint, from a democratic process. That's what I know. That's why when you've been following the case, every time someone from outside, whether it was an ECOWAS team, whether it's the US, they always talk about mediation. They always talk about bringing people together. They never mention anything about going to Supreme Court. Because like I said, whether you love Fanatikova or you hate or Rachel Kuhn, universally that's a standard. That's why we have 103 guys that we call the first branch of government. They are the only people that can impeach both a president and a Supreme Court justice. So when I woke up that morning hearing a statement coming from the man who's going to be chairman for the Senate Judiciary, talking about the Supreme Court should hold her ground, you should be an autonomous body. Are you serious, bro? The Supreme Court cannot bow to political pressure. So anyone that interferes with a political matter in the Supreme Court, that's a violation of the law. And the Supreme Court themselves understand constitutional violation that they cannot overstep the bound. That's why whenever an envoy or U.S. ambassador or whosoever, they always talking to all the parties to settle this thing because they understand you don't get judicial remedy from a horse impasse. I said it from day one. But in the case of Labrador, we should always pick winners and losers. And that's why I said, if Joseph Parker is the main instigator in this thing, if it is an established fact that Joseph Parker started the thing, my brother, I would be going for an impeachment. That would be the first order of operation, because I know there is no way that the chief executive should be placing any call or interfering in any other branch of government out of the executive, even in the House. It's still impeachable. Even if you were to remove the Supreme Court justice out of this discussion, if Joseph Parker is found interfering in House matter, it's also obstruction of justice that warrants impeachment. That's just why it is.
Mom, before I go to Sekou, Mom, the only player I disagree with you. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're breaking out. Hello? Yeah.
You not hearing me?
Okay, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
I want to ask a question.
Yeah, what's the question, please?
Okay. When the whole thing started, there was a guy who came out and said that he was giving money by people to remove Florence Kofa. Who was that guy? Where is that guy? Was there any investigation into that? So any branch of the government?
So yes, that's a very good question. The last we try to follow up with that story. The case is currently, I think, with LACC or whatever it is, and they've not pursued it allegedly from what we've gotten so far. So the case has gone cold to some extent. But let me make this point though, because I think Henry and the rest of the crew will be going on for the news bulletin here very soon on an hour mark or whatever not. There is something that I wanted to disagree with Monk on here. Monk, I partially agree with you that yes, political matters must be handled in a political way and from a political standpoint, 100%. Please don't get me wrong. There are politics playing every day in the House of Representatives or whatever it is, or in the legislative branch of government. Sometimes even extend to the judicial branch of government, or or the executive, and it is within. That's clear. That's what politics is about. That's what governance is about, right? Politics will play there. However, when it reaches to the point where it becomes a constitutional problem, then people can seek redress constitutionally according to the rules. And I'll keep telling Monk this. We can't use everything as a blanket statement to say it's political, so it must be handled politically. No. It is political when you follow your own rules and do what your rules says. The rules say, from a political standpoint, to remove a speaker, it needs to be for the non-people. And there are steps and processes to follow. The same way how there were steps and processes to follow to put him there. We can't ignore those steps and processes in the name of the politics. So you're saying today, one group of people can just get up and say they don't want Joseph Human Boaka, and they insist that they don't want Joseph Human Boaka without following any kind of process or any kind of step, and insist that they don't want him, and he should be removed. That's not how it works, Mo. And that's where my disagreement is with you and anybody else that keep using the blanket statement or the politics, so they should just handle it politically. No, it can't be that way.
Steve, can you hear me now?
So, who is that?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, let me
yes, okay.
So we can use this blanket statement and keep saying that politics, so let's just be played out the way it want to be played out. Then that means, okay, let's say Richard Kun become the speaker in the Supreme Court, or everybody will be great. After 3 months, Musa Berete has 27 people too. Musa Berete is the chairman of the rule of law. He comes out and says they don't want Richard Kun, they got 27 people, and they go and sign a resolution. They should remove Richard Kun too. So we should be in the
No, I think you're getting the whole thing confused. That's why they got a simple majority. The framework of the law, they were not done. The Constitution says you need 49, but equally so, while legitimate, your speakership is a number of simple majority. The speaker is just the first among equals. Nobody voted to make him speaker. His colleagues were the one that made him speaker. That's why I said all over the world that's a standard. The moment he cannot conduct a quorum to do a government business, he lost his speakership. Nobody go to Supreme Court to remove a speaker anywhere in the world. It's a numbers game. I am saying, if that is the case, because the one loophole the guy keep exploiting, that's why I keep saying, the very first, Florence Kofa is not only a politician, he also a renowned lawyer. he practiced law. I think it was one of the things that he should have corrected the moment he took over the speakership, because there were other speakers that became victim of the whole thing. There are certain people, because they understand there is a loophole in the law that say you can break away from a speaker and there is no legal or judicial remedy to bring them back on your speakership. That's why they keep exploiting. If you can fix that particular law in your own standing orders and rule in the House, then nonsense won't keep happening over and over, because they understand the constitutional part. Almost like I was saying, Steve, I need 10 from you. There are so many ways to give me 10. 7 plus 3 is 10. 5 plus 5 is 10. 8 plus 2 is 10. The Constitution says you need 49. But the same Constitution gave you another way that's saying that you must have a simple majority to be able to do the legitimate business of the government in the House. If you don't have that, why is the SLB a speaker?
Okay, so there are two different things you're talking, Monk. You can't say I have a simple majority.
You want to choose the
No, there are two different things. Having a simple majority. No, I listen to you. No, listen. I listen to you, Monk. I listen to your point. Let me make this point. You can say having a simple majority means they can do business. Great. You can say having, but going to elect a speaker, there is a process. They didn't follow the process to elect a speaker while there is an existing speaker. So, but I think Kofi is injured by that because they didn't follow their own process. So he goes to the Supreme Court and says, please clarify this thing about the process of getting a speaker. If they want to conduct business or they want to conduct whatever it is, and the government want to work with it, great. Then that means they can be conducting two different businesses. But I think Kofi will continue as their law says, as the Constitution says, that you will meet. If you can't get a simple majority, you'll adjourn, you'll go home. They will continue to adjourn. They will be
and they just be like that. I mean,
the
people that got the numbers will be the one to be doing the government business because they exceed the number for the quorum.
Okay, great. So let's agree that they can do. Listen, now let's agree that they can do the government business because they exceed the number for quorum. Let's agree to that. Why elect a speaker? Why not follow the process to remove the previous speaker? Why go and elect a new speaker? Why? Why the assistant speaker or the deputy speaker that is with them cannot serve as a leader for them, since he already affects the signature to betray the speaker by walking away? Why he can continue to serve as speaker? Why do they have to go in the cycle and elect a different speaker? This is where the problem is. That's where they put their foot in their mouth. That's where the Supreme Court came in, because they did not follow their own rules or whatever it is. It becomes a constitutional violation in a constitutional practice.
Steve,
go ahead.
Steve, I want to come in a little bit. I want us to understand the word interference. I think we should try to understand the word interference, because you can say that the Supreme Court is interfering. No, that's not interference. The Supreme Court has the constitutional mandate to handle every constitutional matter. And the action of those guys in the House violates the Constitution, not only their rule. Not only their rule, but the Constitution has been tampered with. Whenever there is a constitutional crisis, the Supreme Court comes in spite of whatever branches of government. So with that, I don't think the Supreme Court is in error. The Supreme Court is not in error.
So let me add this, Steve, if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you, Mr. Kanye.
You know, I think we need to clarify something here for everybody to understand. The separation of power. The Constitution gave every branch in the government their responsibility and their limitation. Anything when it comes to the country, anything that can be settled through other means, whether political means, whether any other means, if it cannot be settled, only the Supreme Court can settle it. That's why even an impeachment against one of the members of the Supreme Court can be initiated in the House of Representatives.
Mm-hmm.
It can also be going to the Senate for judgment of final ruling. But who presides over to make the final ruling is the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
That means there's nothing in the country that is bigger than the Supreme Court when it comes to making decisions.
The Chief Justice will be there.
So there's no way. There's no way the Supreme Court can be considered as interfering. You guys not hearing me?
We're hearing you. We're hearing you. Go ahead, please.
Okay. There's no way, because I have people talking on, so you guys will not hear me. So there's no way the Supreme Court can be considered under opening their hand or maybe interfering in the government, in other function of the government. Every rule, an extension, or anything that got to do with rule or functioning of government, those are extension of the Constitution of Liberia. And it is also clearly stated in the Constitution, any rule that will contravene or contradict this Constitution, it will be considered null and void. And every document, every rule, whether it's a rule by the Senate that is in line, that is not in line, that will violate the Constitution, it will not be considered. The Constitution any other rule when it comes to the Constitution supersedes any other law or rule or regulation in the country. Who can interpret the Constitution is the only Supreme Court that is clothed with authority to interpret that Constitution. So if the rule will follow, if a clear rule and they follow it, will not be where we are right now.
Yeah.
Because their behavior they didn't follow their own Constitution, their own rule, which is an extension of the Constitution. That's why some of them saw it. They are lawyers. Fanatic Government is a lawyer. Most of the guys that have been, facing these problems, some of them are lawyers. They know exactly where to go. The Supreme Court is the final arbiter of any judicial matter in the country. And to close, Steve, Mong, and everybody here, at the end of the day, if somebody can say, oh, the Supreme Court is not supposed to do this, the Supreme Court invited the Minister of Justice initially to get opinion on the constitutional matter as the legal, as the number one attorney in the country for the whole country. He said no, he has no opinion. Only after some legal ruling, he came and gave his own opinion on it.
Yeah.
And then the Senate that followed that Senate, they are a bunch of toothless bulldogs, money eaters, that got no value for their position, that do not have found something to hang on, to find a scapegoat, simply because they wanted to put money in their pocket. So, no matter short, the Supreme Court reserved the right, 100% constitutional right, to make the decision, because their failure to have made the decision, clearer in their first attempt. That's what got us where we are right now. And in so doing, it's now violating the Constitution. It's not interference. They are doing their due diligence as probably in the Liberian Constitution.
And Mr. Kane, to buttress that before we get to the other aspect of this conversation, this is what you and Monk call on from day one when our ruling came on. You said the Supreme Court is the problem here. They were not clear. They were very ambiguous in what they said. This is a problem. So the Supreme Court said, okay, we won't come to clarify now. They said interference again. Which one is which now? Look.
The reason why they confuse everybody because they try to walk a fine line between politics and the Constitution. Everybody say, oh, the Supreme Court, the final arbiter of the law. Every country in the world, Supreme Court, the final arbiter of the law. The one thing that I've never seen before in recorded history, like I said, anything that originated from the horse, from a political standpoint, Supreme Court never interfere. In the case of Liberia, you say your Supreme Court should come and interfere in the house matter. Even the Supreme Court ruling, they made a statement clear. The Supreme Court cannot do what the House ought to do for itself. But no, people, The pressure is on the Supreme Court to pick a side. That's what happened in Liberia, because they told you in the previous ruling that's why they want to change it, because you keep putting pressure. And when you keep putting pressure on the Supreme Court, it means you want to put your thumb on the scale. There's where impeachment can come from. Because as far as I'm concerned, the Supreme Court, they're supposed to be professional and some of the top lawyers, the final decision makers in the country. If they can read their own opinion, and people cannot even interpret, even the former president, Balanzali said, no, this thing does not even make sense. Why now? Because the pressure that you keep putting. What the Liberian people want is for the Supreme Court to pick losers and winners in this fight. That's the bottom line and nothing else, because it has
no, I respectfully disagree with you.
Yeah, it won't winners
That's
and
not
losers.
what, that's not, that's not what Liberian people want. Liberian people want the Supreme Court being the final arbiter of the laws of Liberia. The ones we're going to come and state whoever is doing X, Y, and Z is not doing the right thing. And
Exactly.
in this case, everybody know it was the so-called majority that went against every constitutional proceeding. Then when they did their own thing throughout, so the Supreme Court are going to say, majority you are wrong, majority you are right. They will say, they will come and say, legally, the Constitution, the Speaker of the House supposed to be the one to preside. And they will tell us to what constitutes absent, being absent. When it comes to Liberian law, you know that no one can tell you exactly what the law is. So those guys, they rely on the absence of go to that own law, thing that they were having. The what of the people of the government. If we're going to go by that kind of thing, that means any group of people can go sit down somewhere, say we are the majority. 2 million people can go sit down somewhere right now, we are the majority. So Joe Biden is now our president no more. You can call our Steve Bole is our president. Without going through any electoral process, without going through election commission, nothing. Without following any legal, legal way of doing it. So long matter short, the Supreme Court, nobody going to tell them say you must take side. No, but state the truth and be clear about it. That's all people want from them. Say, you know what, this is what it is. And this is exactly how we interpret it. Plain and simple. So that's what you need to do. Nobody will tell them say you must take side. Or you must say the person wrong, the person right. But you must say the truth, then let the people decide from there.
Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Kane.
Sorry, Mo, I think this is on him.
I love it when people try to cherry pick the Constitution. Our Constitution is very clear. And people will focus, Article 49, Article 43. I'm like, have you read 65 and 66? Steve, just 1 second here. Let me just read 66, right? It said the Supreme Court shall be the final arbiter of the Constitution and that exercise final appellate jurisdiction in all cases, whether emanating from the Court of Record, the Court of Record, administrative agency, autonomous agency, or any other authority, both to the law and fact, except those cases involving ambassadors, ministers, and in the case in which the country is all part of. The Supreme Court shall exercise original jurisdiction. The legislature shall make no law nor create any exception as will deprive the Supreme Court of any of its power. My brother, there is a reason they call it the first branch of government. That's why I keep saying, no matter how they interpret the law, I just want to learn something new. I just want that Supreme Court writing of final decision in their ruling. I just want to see how they will separate the Constitution from the politics. That's all I'm waiting to see. And when it happens, praise be to Liberia. We are very good for being the first in bringing up new things. I just want to see that happening, and maybe it will be a learning process for some of us who say that we know what, this is how it should be done, this is how it is, worldwide, in any democratic governance system. But in the case of Liberia, they say, yes, the Supreme Court is telling us that we don't have any constitutional provision to bring people back on the speakership. But then the Supreme Court will come and tell one group, say, you know what, maybe you are a legitimate speaker and this guy is an illegitimate speaker. I just want to see that happen. That's what I'm saying here. So maybe you guys could be right. Just a matter of time. I don't know why they are slow walking their own decision. That's the problem. And another day, Joseph Boga trying to influence. How can Joseph Boga be influenced? The law is the law. If the law is the law, then you don't need Joseph Boga interference. You just come up with your final ruling and the Liberian people move on. But you keep dragging, you keep postponing the date. 1 minute the president interference because you know anything political, you shouldn't be messing. Look, let me tell you something. I don't want to sound like some renegade, but if our in the majority black, we won't even respect the Supreme Court invitation because I know in political matter, Supreme Court has no jurisdiction to interfere in political matter. That's one thing that I know. I'm saying on the show today. I'm just saying, telling you that.
All right, Steve.
Hold on one second, Cassidy. Hold on one second.
Steve. Yeah.
Cassidy, hang on 1 second, please. Monk, I think we'll move forward because at the end of the day,
Yes, a little bit.
This is not there's not interference into anything. That's one. because seeking bill of information does not compel or tell the court to make a decision or to pick sides. It's just seeking clarity. That's the point I wanted to make. So Fanatic Kofa have all right to seek the bill of information through the Supreme Court, to ask the Supreme Court to please make clear the initial statement or the initial ruling. Let it just be clear on the record. That's it. That's all it's asking for. You're not asking the Supreme Court to take any side, to change anything they said previously, or to make any kind of judgment. So again, I disagree with you 100%.
Well, bill of information, not only about seeking information too, it's also a criminal charge. You know that too, right? It's not just one side fit all. When it comes to bill of information, it's not only like
in the context of what he requested,
a criminal charge too.
In the context of what he requested, was not in the context of seeking criminal charges.
Okay.
No. So that go ahead.
Yeah, Steve. This thing for me, I strongly believe at the end of the day, the Liberian people will do the judgment, will have the judgment. What the Liberian people are waiting for is clarity from the court, because Fanatikova has complained that his right was violated. So in the case of a right being violated, where you think he will go? At the court. Even these same politicians, when they go to election, when there's problem with election result, they run to the court. Then we should be going to court again. We should be going to court when there is problem for election.
Yeah, because a political
dispute. Yes.
The political venture.
They should be going to court.
You don't want some people to interpret the political matters and the result for election and other things in the political matters. They're not
political matter.
Exactly. These are
should be going to the Supreme Court.
Let me say this, Cassidy, because this is an interesting point you raised up. The reason why we're here today is because some of the statements among them and other people are making, they're enabling this foolishness, and this particular behavior will continue to extend and make the country to be where it is today. If we all have stood from the beginning and rebuke these people and tell them that, listen, I would care less about the Fanatico family, like I've always said from day one. I believe he's no better than any one of them over there. But let me tell you something. Let me say this for the record. Fanatic Kofa is as guilty in sense of destroying that country as the Rachel Kun, as the Joseph Boga, as the George Weah. So I don't care about him. What I care about is to ensure that this nonsense does not continue and the country does not continue to look funny. And the best way to nip this thing in the bud from the get-go is to tell these renegades or these quote-unquote majority, or I don't want to call them majority, these guys who want to create problem, listen, you want to remove Fanatic Kofa? Let all do it together. The best way to do it is follow your rules. Get your numbers and remove this guy. Please. Let's do it. We ourselves will tell Fanatic Kofa. We don't want him there. But stating that they can just do anything and they stick with it because they are backed by Joseph Boga, it's a problem in itself. And we can't do that. It makes the whole country look lawless. This is why we are here today.
So Steve.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Is there doubt in anybody's mind in Liberia or outside of Liberia that Joseph Boakai government is the one that orchestrated and executed the problem that's going on in the House of Representatives after openly supporting them, protecting them, working with them, giving them legitimacy. Joseph Boakai taking the man with him to places, recognizing him as a speaker, even though he knows that this guy did not get into that position legally. Is there a doubt in the mind of anybody in Liberia, also Liberia, that Joseph Boakai was the one that actually orchestrated this? And if that's the case, if Joseph Boakai is the one that orchestrated it, it goes beyond just a political matter. That becomes a problem that the Supreme Court, if a party believes that they are right being tempered upon illegally, the only person, the only people that can really adjudicate and come up with ruling on that will be the Supreme Court. So that had nothing to do with interference. Joseph Boakai is the one that actually, more speaking, but I think based on normal government, on normal time, under normal circumstances. But right now, Liberia is not normal. We don't got a normal government. When you have a government, the president not in control or not, the president is incapacitated. The president has no idea as to what is going on. He does not have the moral autonomy to make decisions for himself. Joseph Boakai's decision is coming from, his people, from around him. So whatever is going on, he will just efface the secretary. They will not write again to him, go talk. They will inject steroid in him to go and say things. The country is not normal right now. And it's scary. It is very scary. Who in the world will be a president and you invite problems for your own government? Thinking that the people are stupid. Let me tell you something. The reason why we are where we are right now, because Fanatic Kofa and his colleagues, they never gave in, they never agree, they never bow down to the pressure, to the unconstitutional process that they went through. That's why we are here. They thought it would have been business as usual, wherein a president will violate the constitution, and everybody will say that the president, everybody will just go for the money, for what is in there for them, and move on. The public will talk about it 1 or 2 weeks, and that's it. But for not to cover being intransigent to say, you know what, I'm going to be the example Liberia will set for the future. And the will-be violator of the constitution will know that you could have another fanatic offer in the future. So that's why we are here. So constitutionally, Joseph Boakai should be impeached. Or could impeach him? Nobody.
Thank you.
Only Liberia people can go now and go on the street and say Joseph Boakai should leave because he's not capable.
So
You
let's
just ended the entire conversation with the premise you live, because that's what I've been saying from day one. I'm looking at a normal situation. You are looking at it from an abnormal standpoint. That's why I said, is this house impasse coming from lawmakers, or is the president the chief architect that is the one pushing this thing, that bringing about division? If the president is the one pushing this thing, then you can say that's a constitutional violation, and we can use the constitution to what? To either impeach the president or find a remedy. But if it comes from lawmakers among themselves, I would tell the Supreme Court, go and pound sand, because I know the separation of power. So you are telling me Liberia is an abnormal country. I am talking from a normal standpoint, because Joseph Boakai interfering is yet to be confirmed. That's where the problem is. That's why a very same Supreme Court keep dragging her feet, because it's one thing for you to speculate, but it's something for you to be factual. Because I know if Joseph Boakai plays a phone call to a Supreme Court justice or associate justices, or he directly meddled into the affairs of the House, that's an impeachable offense. But when you are telling me it's under normal condition, and the Supreme Court want to interpret the outcome of the case based on speculation rather than fact, then I don't know. We still wait to see. That's what I'm saying. Nothing more. But
So Steve, I want to ask Mom. I want to ask Mom.
Hold on, you ask a question.
Yeah.
Hold on, you ask a question, but let's move to Muna quickly. Let's hear from Muna. We haven't heard from Muna and the rest of the guys, and then hopefully we can get your question and go straight to the line so that we can hear from the Liberian people. Muna, what say you based on everything that we've talked? Let's have you in your 2 minutes, please.
For me, there's whole problems in the House that are caused by our lawmakers. People that we voted for, they are the problems of this country. They don't mean well for Liberia. They don't mean well for Liberians, because If they mean well for this country, they mean well for Liberians. What is happening in that house, it won't be happening. But it don't mean well for the country at all. They just only want to seek their own interest. That want all the things happening right now. That everything the country, the rule of law have been downplayed. Everyone doing their own thing, lawlessness all over the place. So the problems of Liberians is the lawmakers that we voted for. They are the cause of the problem happening right now. That's all I can say.
Thank you so much. Let's go quickly to Sidiki. Sidiki, what say you?
Check your question,
Sheikh, I'm sorry. Sheikh, what say you?
Steve, after that, do you have any report from Nimba? Did you talk about that?
Yes.
No,
What's going on?
I wanted to use my time to talk about some of the development from Nimba this year. Yeah. Today, John Curry with the Duke debate started in Nimba today. Interpreter based on the basic schedule of most of the candidates, the majority of them were not able to attend the debate, except I saw was Samuel Gongbe Koka, who went for the debate, and his comrade Armstrong Goba Slebo. You know, Armstrong Goba now is supporting on Samuel Gongbe Koka. So today they were expecting more candidates, but majority of the candidates, due to the time factors, you know, the time is very limited. So majority of them are in the bush. I didn't see the left of Mara Ide Gongro where my blue one. Majority of the candidates didn't attend, and that was one of the complaints that the candidate was giving. According to them, the time is very limited and Nima is very large. No, even when they give you exact 1 month to move in Nima, you will not make it with Nima County. It was about just 22 days or maybe 20 days to go around Nima County. So you see, majority of the guys will not go for that debate. So, but yes, and in another development, it is a sad news for Honorable Garrison Yelu, one of the senatorial candidate in the by-election. He lost to a member last evening after they have come from district number 5 on their way back to another district. According to him, he has sent, they were first-time voter. One of them was first-time voter and one of them was part of the team already. But this information been going around that Honorable Garrison Yelu is now contesting. He's not going to take part in the election. So he been sending a team around from district to district. So yesterday he sent some team on the way from district number 5, passing through around the Plateau region, and then they had a motorbike accident and 2 persons lost their life. One Melvin Card and one Rita Dodo. They both of them lost their lives. May their soul rest in peace. So that one of the sad news in Nimba County. Another one again. I've been telling you concerning this Ganta to Sktv-Lib Road with the intervention of the vice president, pronouncing to Nimba County that the government have ready to fix the road. And that is why Mo Nimbada was saying the vice president shouldn't use the road to run campaign for Samuel Koka. Because Mayu, he have already declared his intention to support Samuel Koka as a vice president. That was as individual, but not the United Party or maybe the government. But, you know, after a few days, few weeks, there are some machines being parked in the bushes. We've been passing by those machines around the ball play region, that around district number 4. All of a sudden, we saw those machines on the road that have been sponsored by the vice president to rehabilitate the road, using it as a campaign message to the Nibada. And that's what Nibada was saying. Please don't use this road as a campaign message, because you are not the ones supposed to pronounce to Liberians that the embankment of the road project has become from Sktv-Lib to Ganta. They have the Chico. The Chico are the one that win that contract. They didn't want on that road, but with the machine on the road, we don't see any member of Chico. No one having a vest to even indicate that yes, these are the company that are responsible for this road rehabilitation or fixing the road or paving the road. We are not seeing any of them. We see people in their normal clothes, you know, using it. And mind you, the machine will not work for more than 2 days. It will break down. The machine will not work for 2 days. It will break down. So it is a self-initiative. So Nimbada was saying that if the vice president want to come up to help to do some rehabilitation on the road in name of supporting his candidate, he should be clear to the citizen name, but he shouldn't use the name of the government, and it is not a government operation. So far so good. The campaign is ongoing. The guys are in the bushes in litigation, they are partisan as well.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can take some calls if possible. I don't know.
Yes, I don't know if,
Republic. Oh, go ahead.
I don't know if Sybil or anyone have question. I mean, I can entertain it, then we can move forward.
I wanted to ask you about this whole violence between that happened in Bopele. I don't know Bopele if I'm pronouncing it right. Or what's going on, because they really is heating up and it's getting so heated that we're talking about violence now. I don't know. This is the second or third day in a row being hearing about people trying to prevent other candidates from canvassing other part of the country. So what's happening?
Yes, this district number 4 is a vote-rich district in Nima County. So every attention will be paid to district number 4, district 8, district 7. And district 7 have two cities. They have Ban and Sktv-Lib. That district fall under Musa Hassan Belete. And you have district number 1, which is also populated. District 2 is populated. So the candidates are targeting those populated districts. And mind you, majority of the guys are saying that they have their constituents in very places. So they don't want other people to just rush into them. And Madam Ile Gongolo, who came from the Mano Belt, and then Samakoka came from the Gio Belt. But mind you, this is Nima County for everybody. And besides that, she's a Nimbalans. But since then, the guys denied the allegation. But the video shows that there was a riot. But can't have restored. Since then, can't have been restored. But with the accident last night again can also institute another violence, because the candidate for the MDR were mocking at the death of those two guys, especially from the camp of Garrison Yellow. Some were saying it's a blood sacrifice. Garrison Yellow want to win the election from their camp. So the Biden spoke on the radio this morning, expressed a dissatisfaction concerning the way some member of some Gombakoga were coming up with the issue of Garrison Yellow sacrificing. It's a blood issue, all those things. So that is another way of instituting violence again. So I think the Bidens, they have to just understand the way it looked at, because this one of the things that more Biden was saying, who can unite Nimba? Who will unite Nimba? Death is not for one person, and especially on the political struggle, so many things can happen. So it's not something that will mock at somebody that, oh yes, he have sacrificed somebody, he has sacrificed blood. So this is going over. And mind you, if this they don't be careful, it's going to be a serious problem in Neighbor County. We don't pray for it, and we don't even want it to happen. But what I'm saying is they got to be careful in that Gil Belt. They got to be very, very careful, because majority of the issues that are coming up is from that Gil Belt. District 4, District 3, these are places. District 5, these are places at times you hear no trouble coming from more of the election matter. Remember the last election 2023, there where the dead body business happened again in that area after the chunks on the battle buses in a river, and people fought against each other. Somebody died between NMRCA and that of the Gombu Gagon saga. Somebody lost their life, So similar thing, we don't want it happen in Nima County, but the leader have to come out and say something on this. Sekou.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you so much. I think we should go through the lines and hear from the people. Let's start with Heron first. Maybe Heron can take a few calls, and then Muna can also take some calls. Then we'll end up with our brother Shirk to help us too. So Heron, let's few calls, please.
For part of the show 077701763 077701763 is the number to call, and they're going to be live here on SKTV show 077701763 777017635 is the number to call. I get to the line, pick up our first caller. To this caller, your name, from where you joining us?
Good evening to you, and good evening to the SKTV family.
Good evening to you.
SKTV family. I am PLN Wisdom, and I do join you from GSN.
Okay, Pee-wee, go ahead.
Let me say thanks to the panel for the talking point. My two brief comments I want to make is the one I have to do with the Supreme Court expected jurisdiction over the saga in the House. I am calling on the Associate Justices and that of the Chief Justice. When you set a precedent, it will always be in our history for the Liberian people. I don't want for you to be pressured by any political issue or the executive influencing you through money, nothing, and that. Just hold your ground. Dispense justice based upon the rules and law of our country. Lastly, to the issue of member election, I'm calling on all candidates to sell themselves to the people, no violence, no notifications, and be able to say to the people, I'm better suited for this position. This is what I have done, and this is what I will do. Let's forget about whether you or Manor. Because everyone in Lima, whether you are even from Maryland living in Lima, you have the right to contest as a senator or as a representative. Thank you, and we wish that the people of Lima go to the pool in peace, and there will be no violence, and the winner will be announced as the winner based on our electoral law. Thank you.
Okay, my brother. Thank you so kindly. 077701763 777017635. Your name from where you joining us?
Good evening.
How are you?
Let me say good evening to the Sktv family. This is Sony DJs. I join you from Bombay County this evening.
Way there in Bombay. Okay, my brother. Go ahead, make a point. 1 minute.
Yeah, my attention has been drawn to the election in Lima. Listening to one of the sister program this morning, that one of the candidates went in one of the town, and then the young people they start going off, especially the new female candidate. I want to call on the young people. The people that you are fighting for, they can go at the back and sit down and ball class together. After the election, you see them and they're shaking and moving together. And then you now with battling between you and your police. White people up there breaking glass. If they want to misbehave or with all shoes, they're feeding to them. If you let the person, you're not forced to go to the person's rally. You can stay home.
Okay.
Nobody forcing you. Who are the person? It is a serious embarrassment to our nation, and especially with the young people.
Okay, my brother. Thank you. To go there and boy the person that's very, very bad. 077701763 I will miss that caller. 077701763 Your name from where you joining us?
Hello, Sktv, and good evening to all of you. My name is Kusuma Kubo, and I'm from Sktv-Lib.
Sktv-Lib County. Okay, my brother. Make a point.
Thank you very much to all of you. My point is that, we are in Liberia. Whenever the small child and the bigger person have a case, we'll say one time the person can trust to already understand the issue is successful. But what I want to tell you, I want you to please join us on your platform. Please do a notification there, put on our map below. Number 2, so that when people see the platform, they can see any CO2, nothing to bring the academic talent. So please help our platform so that the viewers can see it and we can move on. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, my brother. 077701763 777017635. Your name from where you joining us?
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing okay, boss man. What's your name and from where you joining us?
I'm Melvin Kamara calling from Bombay County Police District.
Okay, Bombay County. Go ahead, 1 minute.
Yeah, I heard some of your panelists saying that the president is not interfering into the concept that you just about the people. But then I had to ask, how would they convince the public, because we saw the president having a minister was summoned before the House of Majority for questioning. We were seeing that the president was never going to be clearly to pay for them to appear before them, but they appear for questioning. And number 2, we watch the president send armed to escort the budget to Richard office for passing. So how are they telling us that the president is not interfering in the House of Representatives issue? And 2, on the court is about to come with ruling. Always see the president
putting stop to it. So how are they convincing us that the president is not in the know of what going or not in support of it?
Okay.
So that's my question. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. We'll take to this caller. Your name from where you joining us?
Yes, good morning, Sktv-Lib. This Louis Gibson, calling from the electoral district 1 from Baza County.
Okay, go ahead, my brother. Make your point.
I just want to encourage the people of Nima County to be courageous in the election and vote Ide Congo West as the next senator of Nima County.
Okay. Vote Ide Congo West as the next senator of Nima County. Your name from where you joining us?
Hello, I'm Ishmael. I called from Bank today.
From Bang, where there in Nimba. Go ahead, my brother. Make your point. 1 minute.
I just want to tell my community to the Peru family of those who are alive on the motorbike. Yeah, also, the client will be peaceful in the process of the
Okay. That whole there, we can go to check better stay Mona so that we'll take more calls because we don't have a luxury of time at this point. So it's back to you guys. You guys can like, take calls from your end. If no calls, then I can continue. But you guys take some calls from your end because of the time.
Okay, let me come in before Muna come in. Of course. Yeah, you can call me now 0772566515. To this caller. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Okay. Let's hear you. Okay, thank you. You make your day. Good evening. Good evening. I'm okay. You're near joining me from where this evening? Your line is not coming out well. Hello. Let's hear you. Let's hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead, Chief. Okay. You want to invite your brother to vote for Ide Congo at 0772-566-515, 0772-566-515. Let's hear you from Nimba County on the SKTV show here this evening to this quarter. Good evening.
Yeah, hello, bro.
How you doing?
Okay.
What's your name? Where you call from?
I'm Steve. I call from Bobawi. Instead number 4 in Nima County.
Let's hear you from District 4.
Yeah, you know, people get all kind of thing about election. They think that is the person that you love. Just vote the person. But as for me and my family, I really believe that I will vote for Ide Congo West to take the mantle of authority as a senator, the next senator after Prince Johnson in Nima County. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And that is it. Let me go to this caller. To this caller. Good evening. Let's hear you near Junior from where this evening.
I'm sorry, I call from Bao.
Let's hear you from Bao Family.
Sympathy with those that lost their life. I really sympathy with their parents. I share with Bao will say that election time we should take our own time. Don't say all somebody on social media, they are not doing well. All the people that are in the election, they are all brothers and sisters that are in the election. They are all thinking about Nima. Nima is the only trusted all of them have. So I'm very with their parents. Thank you.
Thank you to this caller. Good evening.
Yeah, Stephen.
This is Shaq.
Shaq, okay. Abby Johnson calling for Turo Station number 4.
Let's hear you, Aaron.
So you see the president trying to shine on Tivo. And he already doing the Tivo. If you will be there sending armed police to put on the law at the court or parliament, and then you acting like you see the door of what goes on. That's being wicked to the city. And then we get whatever information because Satan is in their chat room. And when Satan telling you that the president put you on to the president for load up too. So we got the president that will still know to be the one to see their way. The post that will be independent in the country. We need to collect the start the post. Because the post not going to be involved with anything in the quality.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. So another issue. And hello.
Tell us second quickly.
Okay. So they got a guy, they always thought I was beating and torture. I see nobody taking on that issue. And the family people writing all on Facebook that the men were having all of the things going for torture and kill. The government killed it that so they pick on that issue.
Thank you. That's allegation. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Let's hear you. We can take 2 more, then we'll go out to the guys.
Okay, my name is Harrison Gonzo Harris. I do secretary.
Let's hear you. You chair.
I want to appreciate you ever so much for the platform this evening. What I want to tell our listening audience is Lima is a peaceful country, and from the starting of this election, the elders have been calling upon one another, considering Lima to be the biggest picture in the country. But then the advice I want to give to our brethren who work at the studio as a journalist, any information daily you have to validate it. What is happening? Most of them will spread our information that is not proven. So that alone will create chaos, that alone will create confusion among our brethren. What I do observe is all of the people that are in the election, whenever it goes so well, what everyone is saying is a picture for all of us, and let us remain united.
Okay. Thank you so much. Second to last caller. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Chef.
Let's hear you. Since you can do. Go ahead.
You know, let me encourage everyone because everybody is voting for development in the country. And you're not voting for Islam or Muslim. I'm voting for the because I'm a brother, my sister. Everyone voting for voting for development. So, I encourage all the supporters of Honorable Mike Brown, enough supporters to take the other man and go for Honorable Mike because Honorable Mike Brown is Honorable Mike Brown is the development hand because Honorable Baby in our neighborhood all over the bar and today he put Honorable Mike Brown hand up. So, those are the murder arising to get you from Mike Brown for the country.
Thank you. Thank you. This is our last stop. Then we'll go to the guys. Good evening. Good evening. Let's hear from District 8, Hilary.
What we do is the minority brother on the and the minority brother on the we are monitoring the president, bring everyone and people are in a sense to play with the Supreme Court. The brother is after that reform. The Supreme Court, no need for you to play with the results that will come with the Supreme Court. You are ignoring the Senate. You are just a former issue. It's just a zero issue like it just told me one or two days. But it didn't start on the system someone now. And now, because you don't know complain. So right now, they've got a lot of things. So the Supreme Court I think the national community is monitoring only. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for all of things to all of you. Thank you for your call. Let's now go over to Muna.
Let's see one or two more calls because no time. 081 14 35 04 07 76 105 1050 14 3504 0776 105 105 0881 14 3504 0776 105 105 0881 14. This person. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Mona.
Name and calling from where?
Yeah, this is Brown Tate from Monrovia.
Welcome, Chief. Let's hear you.
Yeah, there's a issue between key analysis and that of Mon, including Seku. But what I want to say is that yes, Supreme Court can intervene, and when Supreme Court gave her opinion, somebody had to say I'm right in the case, because when they give opinion, somebody got to separate. But say for example, Robin Field was a Christo, like a Christo on the army war, made use of the money, and Christo took Robin Field front page to court. At the end, they convicted Robin Field, and he's supposed to spend years in jail. On the eve of Manosadi coming to give a state of nation address, and she already put in your nation address that she don't have no political prisoner or prisoner of conscience. Junie Louis and other people, they got to go back and forth between Executive Mansion, Supreme Court, before Robin Field was released. All on Sunday, I think somebody can bear me with me. All on Sunday before Manosadi gave that state of nation address on Monday. That's one case. Another one is that, Supreme Court, when Charles Bronson took led to court, and when they went to court, at the end of the day, the Supreme Court came down with a decision where even Kabila General had to dissent on the ruling of the Supreme Court.
Okay.
So they made that decision when Philip Biden read the decision of the Supreme Court. These are circumstances. Supreme Court will always give opinion, and that opinion will favor somebody. So when they say Supreme Court can't give ruling to favor somebody, no, it's not true.
Right.
We are seeing cases in this place. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tate. Good evening.
Thank you.
Good evening.
This is the voice of Prince Polake. So I'm from District 5, Mozzarella.
Welcome, let's
So I think some of what we witnessed from the angles of the mutual bill is encouraging. And I want to use your media to speak to the conscience of the youth. I think as they can retrospect, there were similar scenarios that occurred in Lofa. Today, those politicians that people were kidding themselves for, they are all united today. You see Thomas Fala, you see Francis Humane, you see the other people, Ambassador Bouaka or President Bouaka, all of them. So, who really are you doing this for? If you kill your friend or if you harm your friend only because of politicians to favor you. So I think those guys, they really need to be conscientized. So let me take this time and speak my ballet, my vernacular, because I hail from Lima. So, on the French Polaka, I got tired, and it was so helpful. So, one extra, my man, I'm
Thank you. Let me take a one and go
back. Can you guys please
Good evening.
Yeah, we interpret what I mentioned.
I didn't show do that.
You can interpret.
Daniel calling from where?
Yes.
I'm Daniel calling from Duazon, Magvi Kande.
Daniel, welcome. Let's hear you quickly.
Yeah, thank you, Mona. The topic on the discussion is very important. I'm discussing about the election in Nimba Kande. Nimba Kande people are from Nimba.
I'm not ready.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Shake. I think you can say.
Well, let me interpret what I mentioned real quick.
Yep.
Yeah, sure, you can do that, right?
No, I get to interpret. Why you gotta go to check? Let me interpret.
Steve, you hear that, Diva?
So quickly, the
No,
guy said,
I'm not a Gil man. Please, Steve,
"My
I'm
man,
not
let
a
me
Gil man,
interpret
but
the team.
why
Steve, you hear that, Diva, man? Steve, you hear what? Steve, you hear what?
Folks,
Thank you, man.
hold on, guys.
Instead of saying I'm just trying to correct her.
Yeah, so the guy said his name is Prince. He called the place his mom from. He called the place his pap from. The guy went on to say he using this medium to speak to the people of Nima County that they should go vote for whoever they choose to. If they don't choose to vote for anybody, they should walk away from that person or leave that place. Somebody got something on the feedback. It's very bad. I think I can say it. If you don't choose to vote for a certain person, don't vote for them. But they should not be fighting among themselves. They should not be fighting each other. And they should go and vote in peace. And they should make sure that, there's peace in the county and in the upcoming election. Basically, that's what the guy said in Gio. And and a Gio person to say why I said that. You already in the comments section.
I didn't know, you could
or let the guy call back and say why I said that. Let Prince call back. But let's move on.
Steve, like I told Lonta to explain. He told Lonta to explain. He just see what I'm saying.
He got to explain one more.
Yeah, because at time, if I say word for word what he said, then we'll say it forever. So, but let's go quickly to our party comments as we wind down really quick. Mark, what say you based on what you heard from the callers?
I think I was side with the last caller, like what you just interpreted. It's politics. Politics, they ordained politics like 1,000 years. You don't have to kill each other. It's Nima County, it's one county. And at the end of the day, they get a bar in special election. You don't need to go in and bring more division in the country. That's why in the county, that's what we say, keep voting for people based on the merit. What have you done for me? What you think you can bring to the table? How you think you can move the county forward? That should be the focus of the voters. The whole issue of attacking another supporter, another candidate, I don't think it's called for. And I believe the Nima County people will do the best thing. They will try to rise up above the fray of politics and do what's in the best interest of their county. That's all I can say.
Thank you so much. Let's hear from Cassidy. Let's go to Cassidy. We'll come to you.
All right. Thank you so much. Even though I wanted to ask Monk my question, but I will reserve it for another day. We listened to the callers and they just said, what they have to say. And Liberia is at a crossroad. As I always said, that this problem at the level of the House of Representatives, Liberia is on a time bomb. All right. So if any party will not listen to or respect the ruling of the Supreme Court, I think the Liberian people will stand up, because I believe it is only the Liberian people who will bring an end to the identical stuff, because they will stand against their lawmakers in the various districts to make sure that the right things are done. I can tell anybody for free. That's why I was there. All right. So thank you so much. Radio Former is proud to be associated with Sktv, and Radio Former is owned and operated by Rufus and Roof 30 Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go quickly to Mr. Sheriff quickly.
So yes, we want to say thank you so much to the caller. The caller have said all. We have nothing much to say again. And to Nima County, please go about running your campaign peacefully and tell the people what you think you can do for them to convince them to vote you. Tell them what you have done if you have been there before and you want to come back in a higher one. Tell them what you think you have done in the past so they would feel convinced to vote you. But don't go about creating problems for our people in the various districts. And Nima is a very big county. We need to come together to become one people. Thanks so much. I want to say thanks to the Ability Development Foundation, headed by Honorable Musa Hassan Ability, and thanks to Sktv. We're always here for you, and we will always be there for our people. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's go quickly to Henry. Henry, what say you before I give my parting comment to? What say you, Henry?
Yeah, again, let me say many thanks to all of the team members on Sktv. It was quite an interesting conversations where we have to go back to the audience and have to tell us what's on their mind. But as you all may be aware, politics is a checker game. It's a deep game. Uh, the decision you made in the coming days in Nimba, it will not be you, but think of your children. Make the positive decision so that we can start to look at the decision that will be made in the coming days, and then we'll get to understand that indeed Liberians are thinking they know who they want. We can start to safely say that 2029 they will make the best decision from just the by-election. Let's see if people are actually, for what they are saying, all times are hard. Let's look at the decision. Hope that it be positive and it will benefit Nima County and Liberia lives. But we're quite a good time to be here. Bye-bye from my end.
Thank you. Well, folks, thank you so much for your support. Thanks for also joining Sktv, to all of our sister radio stations. Oh, sorry. Muna, please go ahead. I'm very sorry. Sorry, Mama. I'm sorry.
you forget when the female general on the platform.
Sorry.
Okay, the lawmakers are the cause of Liberian problems. Let me say many thanks to all our callers, our listeners, supporters who already been there for Sktv. Until then, I'll talk to you to have yourself a wonderful, wonderful night. Bye-bye. I'm out.
Thank you, Muna. Well, let me say this again. Thanks to all of you, all of our sisters, partner radio stations, those of you relaying the program, to all of the brothers and sisters out there watching and listening, our mothers, our papi, our woman, will say thank you. Those of you in Nima Canada will be voting. Like the brother said in Gio clearly, you'll do it peacefully. Some of us, we support no one in this upcoming election in Nima Canada. We wish everybody the best. At the end of the day, you know your decision you want to make for your county. You make that call, you make that decision. However, we will scrutinize all the candidates. We were not here on Tuesday when Mr. Mark Bouillon appeared. We are trying to consult with the CMC so that he can please reappear on Sktv on Saturday, or Friday, or some kind of day that, we got our 14 and I can be here in Seku having a party or whatever it is. What am I going to see your question? We want to know what is going on in the town. Same thing with Samuel Koga, with Madam Edith Gonglo. We are reaching out to Chairman Yato to see if we can settle something. Let me tell you something. We're here to say what it is and say the truth. We're not going to be on the hall to talk. We're not doing no gossiping. We'll say it as it is. The last thing I want to say is tomorrow we'll be on here. By the grace of God, we have a lot of things to cover. Some of the things we did not cover today, we'll cover. We'll delve deeper into this whole Supreme Court ruling situation. They're expected to rule tomorrow. If they don't rule, then it can be established now that there was some kind of influence and why they didn't rule. So we'll look forward to tomorrow. We're still optimistic. We're still hopeful that they will rule tomorrow by the grace of God. If they do not, then we'll take the conversation further to see who influenced, why they influenced, and what can be done by the Liberian people. The last thing I want to say also is happy birthday to Mr. Kane. He celebrated his birthday, I believe it was the day before yesterday, on Tuesday. Folks, if you can't reach out to him, but I know this Saturday we'll be hanging out bigly with him. The birthday we got to make it big. I already know. Every year at the time we make it big. Folks, thank you so much from our end. This is how we want to bring down the curtains here on Sktv. Y'all don't forget, Melbourne will be back tomorrow by the grace of God. Melbourne went to eat the president food, and when he come back, I challenge him to say, "Fine." About our president and negative, you understand? We'll ask True FM to pay for the food and everything that they ate. Don't also forget that the president lied to make one food and make food out of there. They make food out of 2FM. Then president not show face. The next day the president calls it in my group. And they make one.
President will come and with good news tomorrow. We're here for them. We're marking them photo food.
We're looking at them. All of you eat the president food. We hear from you like your first good name.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We talk about podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the globe. Monitor people who will in the job. Blessing that time and that effort are rest. The brothers giving us the end of the rest of them. So welcome and live with African.
A lyrical
Master.
Play Paris, who make you again Sktv menu. Say my journey, Tina get I say my yamo. And yes, I know money, the more I know. And you love me, the more I know.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must hold by the loafer and